We're going, we don't need rails.
Yeah. See? International monkey fights are pretty great. He agrees.
You know what I find to be overrated?
What?
Monkeys. I don't think they've earned the level of admiration people give them.
Confirmed Hosen playable allied race.
Ugh. No, it depends on the monkey and if it's actually an ape or not. That's where it all comes down to. Chimps, I think, are overrated.
Yeah,
Like-
especially when they're biting the faces off of people.
Yes, exactly.
You're like,
But, like-
boy, this was worth the joke.
Like little monkeys, like capuchin and stuff like that, they're adorable and they're pretty cool.
I put a diaper on him and it was funny till he ate me.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Monkey Bryans. Huh. I'm not going to get ooked in the duker. I hate that. I know it. They ruined fun.
See, Ben knows. He's secretly on the no monkey train. He just...
I wouldn't want to ride Monkey Train.
No!
It'd just be a bunch of
If
poo
I
flinging.
see a monkey, I'm not going to be around it. I very rarely see an interaction between a human and a monkey, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like, it's always, like, them grabbing lips and, like, pulling on faces and throwing things and being
Right.
loud.
Look, if you want the definitive monkey experience, all you have to remember is bad dates, Cindy. Bad dates.
Yeah.
they're good to test for poison.
I guess that's one monkey that was useful, but then it died, and then you're like, you have the one good monkey, and you're like, well, and he's dead.
Kong?
No, that was just a disaster.
Which one? They were all.
Oh man, that new Kong movie though, The Skull Island, is so goofy and fun. It's a great movie.
Is
Don't
it
expect-
sackable?
From it. Oh, it's totally sackable. It is. Oh, it's fun. I love that movie. Like it, yeah.
Oh, that's true. Zug does bring up a point. Right turn, Clyde. The ape / monkey in those movies was funny.
Any which way but loose.
Yes.
That was an orangutan.
All right. Fine. We're lumping them together. We're being speciest.
Like
I know.
Dr. Zaius.
Yep. That is the best Simpsons bit ever, by the way. Planet of the Apes, the musical.
Yep.
Ooh, help me, Dr. Zaius.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Zaius.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Oh,
Well-
Dr. Zaius.
Let's beat us to the actual other part.
What happens now? Now comes the operatic part.
Oh, I can't wait for that movie to come out.
I know that
It's
looks
gonna be
so
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, should we start the show?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Absolutely.
John, did you hit record on the video?
Yeah, Ben. Thanks, Dad.
Well, considering your track record, you're welcome.
Considering my track record, this was the week I was gonna remember. Tell me where you are next week.
Okay, mister, I'm going to verbally lash at the guy who's trying to help me out, so next time you won't help me out and then I'll screw it up again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a every other week thing.
Okay, I'll try to put a reminder on my phone or something.
Of course I remembered to record this week because I forgot to record last week. I'm not worried about this week. I'm worried about next week when I get in the groove and I'm like, I'm a professional.
Right.
Oh, Thist. God. Her comment wins.
Welcome to Renaissance Roundtable, episode 273. I just realized I forgot to change the Twitch title, so I almost said 272, which that would be wrong. But anyways, it is Friday night. I am here with some good friends, one of them being John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. It's Friday
Hi.
night here in Azeroth, and that's right, we're at the round table. It's a table. It's It's made of wood. It's round. We're at it. We're going to have a good time. But Ben, it's not just us at the round table. Joining us this week, none other than Tetsemi, raid leader extraordinaire, person I feel like I get to talk to a lot, except not anymore because I don't raid. And so now it's a special pleasure because he's not yelling at me because I'm messing it up.
John, I don't think I ever yelled at you.
No.
Honestly.
No, I don't think you did.
I was just like, open more boxes, John. Come on, this is easy.
Come on.
You might have spoken to him sternly.
You heard the rule not to open boxes. Open more boxes. What are you doing, man? Our side needs to win. Screw their side.
I think Akuzad's the only one who actually yelled at John.
Possible?
That could be. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, because we were talking about anime or something like that.
Yeah, we were talking about anime.
Stupid 3-pool jacuzzi area or whatever. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome, Ted. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
to have you on the show.
Yeah, I am looking forward to whatever we're going to talk about.
Yeah. This is actually one of the few times where you haven't prepared at all beforehand, and I am excited.
Nope, I haven't prepared at all.
Well, we can't talk about that because you're the only one who's read it.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
No, I know.
We'll probably talk about it at some point.
Yeah.
There is one thing about that book that I would actually like to talk about.
Okay.
I don't consider it a spoiler because we have in-game cutscenes about the section that I'm talking about.
Okay.
The first 5 chapters.
I haven't even gotten that far, but okay. So one of the big, huge things about Battle for Azeroth that I might have mentioned on this show before is that, I don't understand why we're fighting each other and everything. Maybe I might have brought that up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But here's the thing. So, we saw the little cutscenes and everything like that, and it's like, okay, cool. And then, they each involve a little bit of Azerite. It's like, okay, cool. And then no idea whatsoever. No idea. I'm like, whatever. It's Azerite. Who cares? And then finally, thanks to Christy Golden, I understand, because internalization and thoughts and everything like that are so important, because you have no idea how important Azerite actually is until you read those cutscenes in the book and you get the tiniest little snippet of what happens when you actually touch Azerite.
Yes.
And
that was not conveyed in the video at all.
It's like all you see is, ooh, this is shiny, like the sort of looks on people's eyes. And that has absolutely nothing to do with, the quality of cutscene or anything like that. It's something that you can't really convey all that well in a visual medium.
No.
So getting just that little internal monologue about it and stuff has made me, sure, I'm still apprehensive about the story and everything, but it's made me a lot more excited because it's like, okay, I'm at least getting a little bit of understanding from this aspect of it. And that's where, like, if we end up talking more about Battle for Azeroth, I really want to stay like positive and optimistic and everything, because this has given me that little glimmer of, that's right, Ben, you don't know the whole story. Just, try to be patient with it and stuff. And just getting that little bit of, holy crap, Azerite is really important, and this is like kind of the whole big deal, and this is why we have like Azerite necklaces and stuff like that. It makes sense that we'd be given, or I don't know how we're getting the the actual Azerite necklace and stuff, but that they'd be giving it to like the champions of their side and everything like that and all that. And it's really cool. I'm stoked about that, just from a little tiny snippet in the book.
I had a similar, I guess you could say, come to Jesus moment. Mine did not come from the book. Mine came from people being really shitty. And I'm a Star Wars fan. It's hard to be a proud Star Wars fan at the moment when you listen to other people who claim to be such and you witness the behavior that they exhibit. And it led to a big, long discussion between me and a friend about how difficult it is to create things and what it is to, what is the nature of creating something, and ownership, because it's such a weird thing. And this actually was this continued to be a story because George Lucas came out and said, here's what I would have done if I had done a sequel trilogy.
Right.
And most Star Wars fans, including myself, breathed a collective sigh of relief because it sounded...
I saw in the comments of that article.
I didn't read the comments because I knew it was just going to be the Mos Eisley Cantina. Anyway,
yeah.
generally speaking... Cool. I just felt very strongly that, like, okay, well, I'm glad that's not what we're getting. Personally, that's my take. But I thought about it, and so the way this conversation began is me and the friend started talking. He said, oh, he shouldn't do that. Why would he even do that? And I said, well, because he created it. you know, like, he's the creator of the story. He felt he had some ownership of the thing he created. And we have come in as people who were given that thing, and we have decided that no, in fact, the person who created it doesn't own it, we own it. And it's not a good attitude to have. And I say that even as someone who's like, boy, I'm glad he didn't get to tell his story, huh? But I mean, that's the thing. Nobody's going to tell you have to like something. We can be apprehensive about the story, the direction, ask questions, all of that. But I think it's important, and even I'm guilty of losing perspective of this, that we don't own the story of Warcraft. Now, sometimes it feels like we do because we have characters in there, and there's a level of agency. And I know that for me, when I'm in there, that's where I kind of butt my head, is like, my character has agency, but when you give me a quest that's just like, they could put in a quest that's just like, go slaughter all the children, and you're like, well, I got to, because I want XP and I want to level up. I don't agree with this, but I'm sorry, you virtual kids have to die, because ding ding, at a certain point, that agency, we have it and we kind of don't, and we're kind of at their whim, but you could technically choose not to do it. So it does get a little trickier with interactive medium, but at the end of the day, we don't own World of Warcraft or the story. So thinking about that, discussing that, has kind of been my moment of, okay, let's see where they go. I certainly can't promise I'm going to be happy, but we've waited this long. Let's see how it resolves now. Hopefully, it resolves well.
Yeah. No, and with all the discussion we've had on social media, other shows and stuff like that, I agree with you. I'm very, especially after reading the story, I'm very interested to see how they tell the next part of this story in game, because as far as I know, there's not a sequel to this. The sequel is going to be told in game, although, good Lord, I'd love to have another novel set in BFA coming up from her. I don't want it to be you get a novel per expansion and that's it. Because I think the last one was Illidan that came out, and I was done with that, and I'm like, okay, where's the next? Oh, that's right, we're gonna play the next chapter. Yeah, okay,
that was War Crimes, wasn't it?
What's that?
I said the one before that was War Crimes, wasn't it? Oh no, say a variant novel in there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so just reading this, even though there's still not the bridge, and we're not going to go into it. There's still not the bridge to get my character story into BFA yet, because we haven't figured out what they're going to do with the burning of Teldrassil, which is not in this book at all. No, it's not in there. I'm looking forward to seeing the continuance of this story in the game and how they're going to tell it, because you're right, John. I think it's a point where we keep thinking we own the direction of the story, and it's like, no, you're in the story as it goes along. You have agency on your character, how they react and stuff, but realistically, you're just a part of the story as it goes along, and we need to figure out where that story's going. So I'm actually excited about that portion of the expansion, and I want to see where they're going, especially with 8.0 hitting the PTR, and they're starting to put stuff like you're going to sacrifice your weapon, on the PTR and stuff like that.
So with us agreeing that it isn't technically, well, not even technically, it isn't our story. What's the story of WoW? Like, what is the main focus, the focal point, and everything? Like, I know you could split it off into Horde versus Alliance, or do we look at, like, say, the main characters, like, it's Jaina's story or Arthas's story and everything, or do you think that actually shifts and changes based on the storytelling or the progression of the expansion and everything?
Yeah, I think it kind of changes with design philosophy, honestly. Because if you look at Vanilla, I feel like that was our story as players.
Right.
Vanilla was about us in the World of Warcraft. I think Burning Crusade was actually very much about us in, the World of Warcraft. I think Lich King is where you saw that first shift to it's about your role in the fall of the Lich King.
Right.
And
just thematic.
Cataclysm, I don't know. But
about our role in the fall of Deathwing. It's
exactly.
been a continuation of that, and now, I don't know. Like I said, if you look at the cutscenes or the cinematics and everything, the World of Warcraft one is a whole bunch of different characters. The Burning Crusade one, a whole bunch of different characters. And then when we do get that big focus on Arthas, that is where it kind of shifts. Like, if I go back to my time of leveling in Burning Crusade and getting to endgame and everything like that, there really, Illidan was there and it was kind of a thing, but he wasn't exactly the end all be all story wise. Like, he never really showed up, didn't really do much. It was just like, oh, now we go to Shadow Moon Valley and I guess we kill Illidan now.
I didn't even really understand his motivations until I read the Illidan book, and then I was like, oh, that's what he did. It was years between Burning Crusade and the end where I was like, oh, now I get it. In fact, I think we actually talked about it on this show where we used to just say, like, why did we fight Illidan?
Right,
because the only reason I could think at the time was because he was there and he was a named character and we really wanted to loot those warglaives.
Still is that kind of.
I think Pandaria was about the continent, and I think that's part of what makes it cool is that was, you can say it ended about Garrosh, but at the end of the day, I think ultimately the story of Pandaria was the continent itself.
Or the culture.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys watch the storytelling panel from E3?
Yes.
Because they highlighted one of the things that we're talking about, which is they really liked the reception when you got to Argus and you almost got taken out by one of the Titans with the sword coming down and it's your character standing there. They're like, they felt that brought your character more into the storytelling part of it, and they're looking to do that more frequently in Battle for Azeroth, which I think is cool. And then I love the back and forth. John, you would appreciate this because they're like, yeah, put your worst transmog on so that you look like a clown. And then I think Christy Golden piped up and said, yeah, so you can lose faction with Sylvanas if you're not wearing the right outfit in the cutscene because she'll just cut a bitch.
Yeah, first of all, I do have to say that Matt Mercer did a great job kind of seeing the whole panel. It was great. But no, I mean, they even brought up, just growing technologies and everything like that. And like you said, Ted, they want to pull in and bring your character in more. So that being said, are we getting to a point where our character is starting to become like kind of a main character in the story? Because if you think about it, we did start off as lowly. Okay, well, go kill 10 pigs and bring me their snouts because, you're just a lowly level character and stuff. And as the time has progressed and, our characters have been champions. I mean, heck, they're just called champion now in dialogue options. We have taken down these big bads. We've done these things. And even if in your headcanon, you're not the one who, actually did take down Argus or something like that, you're still contributing a lot to the big epic stories. And because of that, like it only makes sense that, you know, say Anduin or Sylvanas or whoever are going to start looking and leaning towards us because we are the ones who have been kind of, you know, enacting their will and defending the world and everything like that.
Yeah. Can I give just the tiniest thing that complements that thing, but it's a little bit of a spoiler from BFA?
No,
Nope,
we can't spoil it yet. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I will say this. I think you're right, Ben, but I think the problem on the other side of that is I feel like the shift to the focus on the player is a good shift, but I also kind of feel like my agency as a player is being taken away. I feel like World of Warcraft, yes, I was just a part of it. Nobody really cared who my character was. Nobody was like, oh, we got to go get so-and-so. They're really good. Nobody cared. It was like, go pick up poop. I don't care. Just go away. Just get away from me. Now they're like, oh, we need the champion. But I don't have a say in the direction of the Horde. I don't have a say in the direction of the Alliance. And I'm not saying they need to cater the game and make us the faction leader. I'm not saying this game needs to end with naming us the new war chief. But at the end of the...
That's an Alliance character.
Yeah, that'd be weird. But the problem is that I don't feel like, I feel like my character is going to have to go to war in this new expansion. And they haven't shown me why I would be okay with that, because up to this point, they've told me that I should follow characters like Jaina, and I should follow characters like Bane, and I should follow characters like Anduin. And these are the characters I should aspire to be. But they're never going to give me, or at least they haven't yet given me the option to voice that as a thought. But they also, if they're gonna force me, they haven't sold me on why my character's being forced, because I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's the bridge piece that I think the burning of Teldrassil hopefully will solve and get us from the current expansion to BFA. Once you get to BFA, and I won't spoil it, but you get called something. You know how you were saying, "Oh, champion, you're champion of the Horde." Mm-hmm. You get something similar when you first start out in BFA that does make you the focal point of the story going forward. So,
hey, jerkface.
Yeah, no, but
that's how you get recruited by the other side because they think that you're not well liked.
Oh, speaking of which, John, you've done the Rogue Order Hall, correct?
Yep.
Completely. Ben, you've done it completely?
Nope.
Where are you at?
There's a body right inside the doorway of the Order Hall.
He's gone into the Order Hall.
Okay.
I've watched it many times as I've gone out and done invasions and leveled my character. I'm like, yep, still there. Cool. Right. I'll investigate it in a bit.
Yeah. And you've done everything but the... Have you done the Priest Order Hall, Ben?
I finished the first part of it. I'm still in the middle of it. I'm at a point where I need to do a dungeon or something.
Okay. What about you, John? Did you even look at the Priest Order Hall?
Yeah. I've started it. I think you're talking about a character that appears, right? So
yes, and I'm not going to spoil it, but yes, there's a character both in the Rogue Order Hall that when you get to that point you go, son of a... And then there's a character in the Priest Order Hall that you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then by the end of your book, like, oh, God, that was more than interesting. That was very important. So, yeah. This, like I said, this book, the bridge to Burning of Teldrassil isn't there, but the sacking of Lordaeron, yeah. No, it's there.
And that's one of the things that I do like is that, I mean... the fact that you, or one of the first things you said, or to me about the book and everything, without any sort of spoilers and stuff, was that, hey, have you done these two factions? And to me, that's interesting because, that's another thing that I'm curious about is how is the whole Order Hall thing going to happen going forwards and everything. But I think at this point we're dancing too close to the book and we're going to breach topics and stuff. So I'm going to say. We're kind of done in that aspect of it.
No, but okay, I will just say they do a very good job of explaining Order Hall politics in the book. Done.
You're so excited about that book.
They need to because honestly, there are points reading through it where I'm just like, I didn't sanction this. Like,
Yeah.
as I'm reading about Rogue Order Hall characters, I'm like,
Jeez.
I did not okay this op. I
Yeah.
know that you demand respect, but you work for me, and I did not say this was okay.
Well, and that's the thing, or that's the part that got me excited about what's coming next. For that is because our whole discussion is, wait, I'm the leader of an order hall, and now all of a sudden we're going back to following Sylvanas or Anduin, who've screwed stuff up in the past, and our order hall is no longer working together. They cover that in the book.
Good.
It's just gonna be a bummer on the battlefield seeing Bob the priest over there, and we're both like shooting holy energy at each other, trying to kill each other, and it's gonna go on forever because we're both healers, so we keep healing ourselves too.
The book brings up that interesting discussion, so I'm not gonna go. I won't spoil it, but
Okay.
definitely,
Well, anyways,
It's going to be great for me because I'm going to go there and I'm going to be like, oh, hi, Valera. I'm a better rogue than you. We both know it. I was in charge of the order hall. You were not. You worked for me. And so don't step.
Nice.
I'm not saying a thing.
So more of the abstract thought of our characters actually becoming, kind of more in tune with the story and plot and everything like that, without us actually having played Battle for Azeroth, because game's not out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think that kind of hierarchy and everything can go? Like, if Khadgar keeps showing up and trying to get us to do everything for him, or we're working as a personal liaison to Sylvanas with the Thanos Blight Caller or something like that. It's like, next thing you know, there's going to be a single player game that just imports your character data, and then you're a high level person, like your character is in the game, but you start off as a lowly, like I don't know, guard for Orgrimmar or something.
No, actually, it's Magni, and no, I'm just.
Yeah, he shows up. He's just trying to, pull a sword.
No, I'm not.
No. I'm saying
I'm not spoiling, but it's not Khadgar this time. Khadgar's place has been taken by Magni. So we had Thrall, and then it went to somebody else, and then it went to Khadgar, and now it's Magni. So
yeah,
because remember, Magni is the speaker for Azeroth, not anyway.
Magni Lorok.
Exactly. So
yeah.
No, it's going to be interesting because I think that's the story that they're going to that they're telling is, while we're doing all this fighting between the factions because we're worried one side is going to one-up the other with the power of Azerite, we need to stop mining Azerite and start putting it back into Azeroth to heal the planet. So that two-pronged story is going to be interesting to find out the faction conflict while we try and heal the planet.
Well, I know that anytime that I get cut or anything, I try to put my blood back in myself, and it works out really well.
I think, and keep in mind, I have not read the book, so this can't be a spoiler. But also, I don't think they've talked about this yet. But when they announced what this storyline was going to be, that was literally what I said the story arc would be. Battle for Azeroth was going to shift from Horde versus Alliance to now it's the battle to literally save Azeroth by putting the Azerite back into it. It's sort of like, it's an incredibly logical flow of, it's a weapon to fight each other. Uh-oh, we need to put it back in the planet. Hold on. Let's all... Yeah. And I don't know, maybe that's how you soften a horde that people are up in arms about with how much of warmongers they are. Maybe they're the ones who sacrifice it first. Maybe everybody's upset that they fired the first shot, so to speak, but maybe they're also the first to give up that power at the end. Again, this is making a lot of assumptions. A, it's making the assumption that that's the way the story is going to go. And B, that's making the assumption that that's the way the story is going to go down. That's a lot. But I do think that's the natural way for it to go. That, or they lean into it being a corrupting power and a corrupting influence. But I feel like I feel like they've tried to make it clear that there is no hostile intent behind Azerite. I feel like they've tried to sell that, so
It's not Serenite.
Right. It's not. This isn't. We're
No,
not,
it's literal blood of a Titan that's coming out of the ground from the sword, and as far as we know, it's not a corrupt Titan, so it should be good.
That's the twist. We all get all this Azerite, and then the Titan gets corrupted, and then all our Azerite gets corrupted.
Well, I mean, there's a giant sword from a corrupted Titan sticking in it.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, maybe we'll see what happens, but I don't know. I just the idea of giving it back, all I picture is just a portal opening up in Deep Home, and then all these rocks just being thrown in.
Nice.
And portal goes away, and then Queen Therazine or whatever is like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Where did all this crap come from?
Okay, let me ask you guys, not in a storyline perspective, in a geographical perspective.
Okay.
Where do we go next? Do we discover we're only on half the planet? That's my theory.
Yeah, totally do.
It makes perfect sense and yet no sense at the same time.
Or, sorry, go ahead, Seth.
No, I was going to say, I think they've said that this is, from what they've said, this is all the landmass. It's not half the planet. This is but, if you know geography, it's like, okay, well, where's the South Pole? Where's the snow on the South Pole?
Yeah, my question to them is then, if it's daytime in the Eastern Kingdoms, why is it daytime in Kalimdor?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Well, it is only half the planet, but the rest of the half is water.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's why. See, it's perfectly normal.
Yeah, the cat makes perfect sense.
The cat agrees. It's all water.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and that's the thing is. So we got to go to another planet. This expansion, not Outland, but Argus, but we only get to see 3 fairly big zones of that planet. With the whole Void Elf storyline still sitting in the back to be addressed and stuff like that. What do you really want a planet hopping space travel Azeroth story, or where do you want the story to go? I guess that's the thing.
I don't know. I feel like the world is too big for them to just update the zones we're in now and say the story takes place here again. They kind of did that for Cataclysm. It wasn't great. Yeah. I like it conceptually. I think I've always said that I wish that they had just said this is the world and then evolved the world. The problem is I think the world is now too big, and that's no longer a feasible approach.
Yeah, so they have to come up with a new landmass or a new planet. Because even if they Caverns of Time it and we go back 100 years and do something, you're still talking about an isolated area. I don't know that we're not even into BFA and we're talking about where we're going next. I don't know.
It's a really good question though, because there aren't that many places. I mean, like you said, there's planet hopping. I mean, we also do have a giant sword sticking in the ground, so if we remove that, maybe we go underground next expansion.
Yeah, underground has been a guess of mine for 2 expansions now, so I wouldn't rule that out. They could certainly try to come up with cool ways to make a bunch of underground zones feel unique and interesting.
Like Deep Home.
Well, I mean, I feel like Deep Home would be one example, but just like how Northrend wasn't all snow.
Right. No, I mean, even in Deep Home, they had like 5 distinct geologic zones in Deep Home itself.
Yeah, and I just didn't like Deep Home. It was all shit rocks.
Think about the Genesis Cave in Star Trek 2. You can have
Genesis Cave.
Yeah.
There's Sonic and Vector Man, and those were weird tube pulls to go right out of the gate.
Which, by the way, I do have to. I gave a shout out in the chat room, but Mighty Elder Goth said that Azeroth it's a Dyson sphere, so that's why it's light all the time at the same time.
Nice.
I mean, maybe. I don't like it because it disproves my theory.
But okay, so part of it was we're going to Zandalar, which in previous stories we thought with the Cataclysm sank, but now we found out it didn't sink. So you've got that to explore, and then the Kirin Tor, not Kirin Tor, good lord, Kultiris. Yeah, you've got the Kultiris area. I mean, truly, if you remember back to the Pandaria cinematic with the tiny navies finding Pandaria at the first place, it's not unreasonable to think there's more landmass out there that we haven't found yet, and maybe once we have the navies of the Troll and the Kultirans, maybe the next one is a naval expansion with island hopping, and they double down on the island expedition portion of it.
I want my boat.
I know!
That's what I want. If they want to really give me what I want, they should give me a whole big on a ship expansion.
I would like a portable, like a quote unquote garrison, but that's a ship. That would be fun. And then, as you evolve through the story, you equip the ship and yeah, no, that would be awesome.
Okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ben.
No, I'm shifting into a what they could possibly do.
Then let me throw my last idea out. The other side of Azeroth is nothing but water. It's a water world. We go over there. We develop ships that become super ships that become big giant ones, and all the Horde, all their ships smoke, and they're called smokers, and they're way into smoking things. And the Alliance are, like peeing on plants, and we get this going.
But what's the resource we fight over? Because that's the thing.
Dry land.
Urine.
Dirt. Paper.
Have you ever seen paper?
Paper. They're like, we have paper. It's just over on the other continent. Paper.
Okay.
And you have to remember that they've already told us, not the first raid, but in the second raid, we are going to be dealing with Ashara. So, John, you're not that far off that... I mean, we're not going to do an entire expansion of Vashir. Instead of underground, it's all underwater. But maybe they're going to lean into, the underwater kingdoms or the water kingdoms of Ashara.
They could. Big, giant underwater bubble places. It'd be so good. I love all of it.
Are you ready for an insane theory?
Yes.
Okay.
Crazier than paper.
Crazier than paper.
Great.
So Azeroth is a Titan, correct?
Yes.
So I'm told.
That's what we're told.
Who says she's full grown? What if the planet expands and grows, and then that's how we're getting more land masses? Like, think about it. The Cataclysm happened. Zandalar, actually sunk. And I realize that as I'm saying this is not going to work. But growing, and then the water level is receding, and therefore it's not sunk anymore. But then, of course, the trolls, they would have had to held the breath a really long time. So that, not the best example for that part. But, what if the planet is actually expanding or growing as the Titan is, becoming more powerful or anything or something like that? What if we get the sword out and there's a growth spurt or, something along those lines?
Or all the water goes in the hole.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, well, it's already in the desert, so maybe not. But
no, but there is a coast right off the... I mean, that's
true.
You see the ships coming in the cinematic. You see the ships coming to the sword, and yeah, there's a desert. But you pull out that big sword, and all of a sudden, it'd be like Thousand Needles all over again. The sand starts caving in, then all of a sudden the water starts coming in, and oh look, a whole new landmass because we've lowered the ocean by half.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if because it's a living thing, so it's got to be changing and moving and things like that, right?
I thought the planet was like an egg for the Titan.
Well, that is how they describe it, but that doesn't mean the egg can't grow.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean the egg's not going to hatch.
Well, yeah, the egg hatching sucks.
Yeah, that's what happened to Draenor. That's a bad idea.
That's a bad deal. We're gonna have to go kill Azeroth. We do all this stuff to save it, and then we're like, wait, hold on, guys, we didn't think it through.
Second class boss, Magni.
Turns out we like living here. We gotta go stab a thing.
Yeah.
Anyone got a giant sword? Oh, wait.
We have a sword.
It just has a couple of people jumping up and down on the hill trying to just drive it in further.
We get all of Azeroth on the top of the hill, and on 3 we press spacebar.
No, that's how we get it out. We go on the opposite side. I'll jump at the same time and just dislodges it.
Yeah, there you go.
1, 2, 3. Ugh.
And then Yrel comes in and blasts us all with holy light. Anyway.
And then there's Azerite just spraying into space, and oh no, now we have to heal it. And I mean, we did that with Pandaria, so we know what we're doing.
What? Hey, wait! You gave me an idea. There are 2 moons of Azeroth that we haven't explored. Maybe we go to. Yeah.
Taught me that there are kittens on the moon.
Right.
So since this is an EverQuest, there's dogs on the moon.
Oh, finally, dogs get their
dog.
due in the World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is the most ridiculously cat-friendly video game ever.
They need a race of dogs.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
as long as they don't sniff too much.
Right?
Yeah, or turn into people.
Yeah, ruins it. It's like, what if your dog actually turned into a person? How much more would you not like your dog?
Just on a full moon, just hey.
Like, we've never considered it the other way. We were always like, man, wouldn't it be cool if people could turn into dogs? But if you think about it the other way, it's like the worst thing ever. If just like all of a sudden one day your dog was just like, and then like a man appeared and he's like, whoa, that's weird, guys. You're just like,
Put on some clothes, Buffy.
let's
Yeah.
sell him.
Unlike the talking frog, we don't want the naked dog. All right.
Mr. Bojangles is licking his balls on the couch again.
Oh.
I'm just saying, like, one direction seems really cool and the other direction seems like a real downer.
Yeah. Oh, God, Ben.
Sorry.
He just like, there's just a person there and they're like super nice because they're your dog, but then you're just like, is it weird for you when I rub your belly?
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit.
They're just like, I
Wanna go
guess.
Okay.
Now that you've said it.
But what about the moons? I mean, and I think that would be an interesting place to go. One thing I did like from the developer Q&A, which happened on Thursday, somebody asked, they're like, okay, so are allied races like this, this expansion's garrison or class order hall? And they're like, no, we really like the idea, and it's something we're definitely going to be carrying forward, but it's not something where it's going to come with every expansion like, look, it's a new expansion, therefore you get new allied races. They're like, we're going to do it when it's appropriate, because otherwise you're going to end up with 50 races to choose from, and then it just gets ridiculous. And
Why would it be ridiculous,
fair point.
though? Why would it be ridiculous?
Because at some point the just the racials alone would start to get, you get faster mail. Okay, now you get better
Slower
prices at Transmog. Yeah, exactly.
That's the sloth race that's coming there, man. It's like 2 hours as opposed to 1.
Yeah.
We kind of skipped over it because I didn't want to interrupt him about it, but I just want to take a moment to acknowledge Tetsemi's amazing transition of, but what about the moons?
Well, okay, I have a question about that. And this is actually kind of a serious question.
Please start it by saying, but what about the moons?
Okay, but what about the moons?
Oh,
if
yes.
Azeroth is a Titan, what are the moons? Are they potentially also Titans, or are they just planetary masses that just showed up one day?
They got stuck in the egg gravitational pull. Let's ask Neil deGrasse Tyson. He'll show up on anything.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be great if he just randomly called in right now and he's like, well, moons can be formed, but...
Let me tell you all about moons and why Azeroth probably isn't a person. Oh, Neil. It's not the question.
But no, seriously, look, I know how moons are formed and everything, but if you think about it, this planetary, well, maybe the whole system was created by the Titans. I mean, we know that Azeroth is a Titan. Are the moons, I mean, they've got to be just manufactured of some sort.
Teen
to, I don't know,
Titans.
balance the gravity.
Teen Titans, I like it.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
One turns into animals when it wants to.
Yeah. I mean, I had a theory that they were actually, like watchers, or they were supposed to be planetary bodies that watched over the Titan, but obviously with the way the story went with Sargeras, that that's not true. But I would like to see what's on those planets or what's on those moons, and possibly go explore that. I mean, that's an easy way to not add landmass to Azeroth, which is already too big, and have something that's close by. And at least, I think it'd be cool just to look up and go, oh, instead of looking up and seeing a moon, you look up and go, oh, there's Azeroth. Hey, look, there's John on the edge of Stranglethorn Vale for some reason,
Hey, John, remember that conversation that we've had about freaking people out with your shadow? This is the ultimate version. You can target people on the planet.
And then call in nuclear strikes after they've built their shack. Oh, wait, wrong game. Sorry.
I think if we go to the moon, that it needs to be low gravity.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody
like the brawl.
Everybody
Maybe
gets like the equivalent of a double jump, except demon hunters get a quadruple jump. But if they use it, they just drift off into space.
No, but you joke about it. But maybe remember that one brawl where it's the low gravity brawl that you can bounce? Maybe that's what they were testing this whole time.
That would be amazing. Like, okay, I would love it if we could, somehow get some sort of portal up there or whatever. Like, if you think about it, what if one of the moons was, I don't know, the entire control grid or sphere or something for Azeroth? Because, we've already like triggered reorigination. Yes, I said that right without sounding like I was drunk. Like 4 times or something. And so what if it was like the master control computer? Like think
it's got that KFC looking motherfucker up there, and he's just like, vis-a-vis Azeroth is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But no, imagine if it was like Moon from Silence in the Library from that Doctor Who episode. It's like not exactly the database, but it's the thing that's actually watching over it, making sure that, I don't know, the baby Titan inside Azeroth, if it is an egg or something, is still like taken care of. And, we find out, oh, there's a giant sword in it. This thing's going crazy. It's going to actually, maybe wipe us out or something to start fresh or something along those lines. And we're going and actually, saving Azeroth again, but by fighting a whole bunch of, constructs or something along those lines.
That would be cool. I'm good for Ulduar Omnitron Defense Council Part 2.
Guys, what if it's a fantasy world and there are dragons and we have to fight them?
Moon dragons!
No!
Well, remember in Final Fantasy IV when, the moon cracked open and all the monsters fell to the planet, and then that's where monsters came from.
Okay. I just these ideas have grown grander and grander, and then I was just like, I remember when I thought it would be cool if I could dress up like a knight.
Well, you can still do that, but see, that's one of the, I mean, I guess you could call it problems, is that it totally needs to Dragon Ball Z itself, and the threats need to become bigger and bigger, and even more so, like, we can't just keep finding land.
John, think about all the moon transmog.
Oh.
There you go. What would fashion on the moon look like?
Awesome. It would be a lot of reflective pieces, and a lot of black and a lot of grays, and capes big on the moon.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Capes.
Capes. Oh, wrong
half movie. Capes, flowing capes. We'd get to look like the warden.
The shoulder capes?
Yeah. Lando would be at home on the moon.
Oh, God. I love that scene in that movie. That was awesome. I'm sorry.
You're just reminding Ben and I that we haven't done our job, and we haven't done a show about it.
You got to do 2 shows.
I know. We still haven't done. Gosh, and technically, if we wanted, we could do a Deadpool as well.
Infinity War, Deadpool, and Star Wars.
So, spoilers.
I've read your pamphlet. I would subscribe to that. Yes.
We liked them all. If you want just the shorthand of it.
That's our episode. It's like its own.
We did
Spoiler alert.
No, we'll do it. Ben and I just need to figure out when we can record.
Yeah, finding time is really hard right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll do it though. God, I want to see Avengers again. By the way,
Well, you can own it on home video eventually.
in like a week.
You mean Infinity War?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see it again.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I want to see Solo and Deadpool again. Those were awesome.
Yeah, I'm at 2 for all of them except for Deadpool so far.
I don't need to see Deadpool 2 again.
Oh.
But I liked it.
It's in his mind.
I just don't need to see it again.
Gotcha.
I like to think of it as the sequel of The Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yes. Good call. Okay, so we've got 2 moons. We've kind of ruled out that as maybe a possibility.
But what about the moons?
But my moons.
What else do we do? Like, once we've conquered the moons...
Waterworld, underground, underwater, moons. We've got 4 expansions, guys.
I know. Well, and then you get to see the void version of all of them.
Ooh.
It'll be all
we should go to the Ethereal's place.
Yeah.
They don't really have one because they got dislodged, but we should go there.
Well, that's the thing. That whole planet that got taken over by the void. Yeah, I definitely want to see that or see that. Yeah.
Remember back when Legion was announced and we were talking about it, and then we're like, dude, the expansion after Legion, we're going to Argus. Nope, that was just a patch.
Right.
Like, can you imagine if we went back to Argus and like it had time to actually get better and everything? We weren't just on like the cracked, broken part of it.
Halo.
That would take a lot of druids and a lot of shaman to put that planet back together.
Well, considering we killed its soul, maybe we're gonna have an issue with that. Do you
Possible.
got super glue?
Exactly. Yeah. Could you get a bunch of Vindicars and just push all these pieces together, Velen? No, that piece doesn't go there. That's an edge piece. Can't you pay attention?
It would be a cinematic with a bunch of Vindicar-style spaceships, all aimed at different pieces, and they'd be like, "We've aligned them, sir. Engage!" And every single one of them would just crash into the planet. It'd just be everybody moves in at once, and then just...
No, the Vindicar stays flying. It's the other ship that I can't think of the name of it right now that I always hate going there. The Exodar. It's the Exodar type that crashes.
The one that Blizzard feels like you should be reminded exists constantly. It's the Poochie of locations. Like, whenever you're not at the Exodar, people should say, "What's going on at the Exodar?" to remind you that it's there and that it needs to be addressed in some way.
Can we get it fixed, kind of like the Stormwind Park? Isn't it about time we fix the Exodar? I mean, we fought off a Legion invasion of it. They've had enough time to build another entire spaceship. Let's fix it.
They have goat hooves. Maybe they don't mind the bumpy terrain.
Just talking about the cracks on the big ramp as you come in. I mean, you could at least fix that.
Yeah, they don't care. They goat hooves.
What if the Vindicar was just like the escape pod?
It's a big escape pod, Ben.
When Azeroth hatches, you're going to be glad that it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Frieza shot out the ceiling of it. We can't fly in that now.
Don't worry, we'll escape in it. It takes off, everybody just starts floating and freezes over. But it's in WoW, so they just turn into the big ice block. Like, it's not as dramatic as you want it to be.
It's floating around inside.
It's spinning.
And that's the 5th expansion. We have to save the Exodar.
Exactly. Oh, no! I think somebody in chat room asked, well, how would we get to the moon? Moon wells. They just become moon portals.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
The Exodar, we fix it. We can get 2 birds with 1 stone.
Right, because, it's like Exodar's become the thrall. It's got to be involved in everything, right?
Yeah. Well, and also, isn't the Horde supposed to get Kalimdor? So technically that means we get the Exodar, right?
Yeah, we keep it now.
You see this? It's on our lawn. It's ours now.
Yeah, we gotta add some spikes to it, and then
we just jam wooden spikes all over the Exodar, then fix it good enough so it can fly.
And then the spikes start falling off. Sorry.
Look at our ship. We made it ourselves. We have all these pieces left.
No, what's worse is because the people to fix the Exodar for the Horde would be the goblins. So the goblins would just end up sticking 2 balloons on it, so you'd have this broken
and bunch of
spaceship.
rockets
Yeah,
in every direction.
exactly. Yes. It's the Exodar Horde style, just as 2 goblin balloons
It's just
and a bunch of rockets
dangling.
pointing up.
And wooden spikes just all over.
Yeah, exactly.
It like clearly is not meant to be held up that way. It's just dangling from the
Yeah,
little ropes
exactly.
as it moves through space.
And Bane just puts a big totem on the front. That's the hood ornament.
We did it for our people.
Right.
Well, no, as soon as it breaks the atmosphere, the balloons just or they burst. Just
Yeah, one of the two.
But it doesn't go anywhere because the balloons weren't doing anything anyway.
Oh, exactly.
they're just being dragged along. Just,
Yes, the Horde fixed the Exodar. Yeah, that's the next expansion.
Not since
like it.
Count Dooku's little ship has there been a more ridiculous spacefaring vessel.
okay, so then that means that the Alliance needs to clean up the Lordaeron. They're gonna have their like a home and garden show, but like emptying the
The
sludge.
goo and all. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Clean-
the you know
Oh, there they go. They open a portal to Therazane. They just drain the stuff into Therazane. She's like, what is this?
Get that. Azerite, goo, what everything.
I love the idea that Deep Home just becomes our dumping ground for everything we don't want. You go back to the zone and everything's just down there. It's just like, I guess okay. Well, it makes sense. It is a human-like solution. But I feel like to be equal, you know, we have approached the topic of what the Draenei would have to go through now that the Horde own that. So the Alliance story, now that they technically own Silvermoon, would be that they just didn't realize it because nobody went there.
Right? Yeah.
Nothing changed. Eventually the Blood Elves were like, we want our city back! And they're like, you're what?
Sorry,
Oh, right. We own Silvermoon. Did anybody go there? No? No? You
There's just
couldn't.
one blood elf still hanging out there. I'm trying to find the bank.
I find the auction house easier to use here.
And then Valyria pops out of the shadows. Guys, I've been here all along.
Hello, hello, hello.
I would just love it if they actually like finally fixed the undead strip going through Silvermoon. I'd like to see what that looks like.
It looks
And
like
then
the
we
rest
could
of
fly.
Silvermoon. Not very pretty and nobody's there.
Yes.
Yeah, because at this point, don't you think they would have killed the undead?
No.
Okay.
Because remember, when you go there, you're traveling back in time, and no.
I read the Three Sisters comic. They were still
Yes.
killing undead.
That's
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
I forgot
There's
about
a
that.
lot of undead there. Like
Yeah,
a
a
lot. Think of a lot of undead and double it because it's a lot of undead.
Arthur's left a mess.
And okay, so speaking of undead, the Death Knight mount quest is really cool.
Yes, it is.
That's all.
Is it
I just-
Frost?
I love
Cool.
the fact that you're like, oh, look, it used to be a good thing.
Yes. Oh man, John, have you? I know it's kind of touched on it and everything, but how far have you gotten on the Death Knight campaign? Like, did you finish it?
I'm definitely, my Death Knight is max level, but I haven't done the mount stuff.
Oh man, you got to do the mount stuff. It's really cool what you get.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you get a dragon, but like the story behind it and everything is cool. And so people are having complaints about like the Horde being evil and everything. The Death Knights are evil. Okay.
Well, okay, but it's not like they sold us that the Death Knights were exactly the best kids in the class. Like,
No, I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying, like, if you want to like start attacking someone, you know, that people are playing as, just ostracize the Death Knights. Like,
Hey.
I'm surprised that Demon Hunters aren't going to be, in the next expansion, just like drawn and quartered or something.
the Death Knights brought back a lot of characters that I like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you have you done the Paladin one yet?
Yeah, I did that a while ago.
Okay.
That was cool.
Yeah,
It's
because
surprising.
that's the opposite of the Death Knight. You take
It's
a bad thing and you make it good.
Like, this is the only way I'll ever get Baron Rivendell's mount.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was so happy when I was like, I realized what we were doing. I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. But I would actually like to see, speaking of Death Knights and Paladins, I would actually like to see that conflict carried forward a bit more and see, not necessarily Horde versus Alliance, but can we see like Class Order Hall, Death Knights versus Paladins? That would be fun. Or, of course, Ben's favorite, Warlocks versus Mages, probably.
Now, see, that would have been an interesting starting point for this conflict that would have been natural. Like, so the whole idea of us going to our order halls, this is another reason why I didn't like the starting point for this expansion story, was order halls were the answer to the Horde and Alliance aren't getting along, and we have realized as people that we need to be better than that. So we joined up with our classes. And so it always seemed like a dumb logic leap to, the Horde and Alliance are fighting again. Come on, let's band together and we'll solve the problem. To then, hey, what if it's Horde versus Alliance again? However, if they had leaned into the whole, like, Death Knights and Paladins fighting each other, and the whole Order Halls started revolting against one another, that's another way you can open up the storyline of Horde versus Alliance, because now you've got internal strife within the thing that was the solution.
Meanwhile, the druids and the shaman are just kind of hanging out and like, what's up?
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, Ben, when we get done, I do need to ask you about a certain point in the book regarding priests and monks and druids and other healers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I might not be there yet, but
no, you're not.
Okay.
It'll be at the very end.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, no, you're right, John. If they leaned into Class Order Hall, like if I'm in my Class Order Hall and all of a sudden I start finding like dead Horde warriors and I have to investigate why the warriors in the Order Hall are all of a sudden becoming dead, and one's like, I don't know, I didn't see a thing, and then you come to find out that it's because of a Horde versus Alliance thing, and that's breaking the Order Hall apart. That, to me, is much more believable than, the leaders are fighting again, so we're blindly going to go follow our leaders.
It's like in Braveheart, when they all fight the English and everything's all great and everything, and then, yay, they won, and then they're back in the thing, and then William Wallace gets his medal, and then all the nobles start fighting with each other again.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's exactly like Braveheart.
I like what Mewkow says. Druid versus Shaman. Nature is best. No, the elements are the best. Battle for Azeroth.
Aren't the elements part of nature? Shut up!
Yeah.
You're just a priest. What do you know?
Okay, Death Knights supported by the Shadow Priest, Paladins supported by Holy Priests, and Disciplined Priests hanging out with the Succubi. Just saying. Thank you, Mighty Algaroth.
Look, we already know Warlocks and Mages would go at it. We already know Death Knights would go to war against the Priests and the Paladins because they would work together. But the Priests would not be able to lend much because they would be fighting Shadow versus Holy within their own bit of business. And Balance would be standing in the middle going, why are we fighting?
Moonfire! Oh, wait. Back to the moon. Sorry.
Then the monks are kind of just, being all tranquil and drinking.
The monks went and hung out with the warriors to have a drinking contest in Valhalla, and that just turned into a drunken brawl that still has not been settled. The Rogue Order Hall is down to only me because we all killed each other trying to be the leader of the new Rogue Order Hall, and I won because I'm hosting this show, and I get to say that.
Accurate.
And nobody can dispute me, and if you do, I have to read it to give you a voice, and I won't.
And so where are the Demon Hunters in this? Did the Demon Hunters join with the Death Knights?
Yes.
No, the Demon Hunters just get expelled, and
did the Demon Hunters and the Warlocks start fighting?
No, the Demon Hunter. Oh,
yeah,
they help
Demon
the
Hunters
mages.
and Warlocks. No, they forget the mages completely, and it's just Demon Hunter versus Warlock, and they're yelling, "You took my power! No, you took my power!"
There's infighting in the mages in Dalaran because of what Jaina did before.
Well, also there's infighting in the
there
Demon Hunters because they're like, I supported so-and-so, and the others are like, what? I supported the other guy. What?
Wait, where'd they both go?
We made a decision! And then they just all start doing that flip attack over the top of one another that I assume they do because I play Heroes of the Storm.
Well, I like it. I like it.
All right, we solved it. They all fight each other. If we left out a class, oh
We
yeah,
did.
shamans
hunters.
and druids. Oh, who cares?
Well, the hunters are a cult. They're just up in the mountain.
They're a cult. Yeah.
Hunters are fighting druids because they just see the animal form and they're like, kill it!
The Nessingwary agenda.
Yes, and then respect it after you kill it.
Yeah, the hunters, just their programming finally kicked in and they were like, we will eliminate all life on Azeroth.
And then the druids fought
Order
back because
66.
They didn't want to be tamed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hunters just go Order 66. All right, must be done. All animals die.
Yeah.
We will wipe out all life from Azeroth. March 4th, Nessingwaryites.
There you go. We've solved it. We got like 6 expansions all set. Thank you, Blizzard. Checks in the mail.
And it's
And
all
the
set
restore-
in Waterworld.
All right. Well, hey, Tet, thank you very much for coming on the show and helping us decide WoW's future. It's
You
an
are welcome.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, until Battle for Azeroth comes out or until the next time you're on, where can people find you?
The best place to find me is on Twitter. I am at Ivory Tiger. You can also follow us at the AIE podcast. We are coming up on episode 300. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And we're going to have a lot of the former hosts on. So come along. It'll be a good time.
Very cool. John, what about you? What are you up to?
Hello, Ben. Thank you for asking. I would
You're-
be happy to tell the people at home. If you want to know where you can find me, you should follow me on Twitter, because I'll probably let you know there. You can do so by following at John_Jagger. Hi. What are you doing, Ben?
Nothing.
What are you doing?
They can't see us. You don't know I'm doing anything.
I can see what you're doing. And it's distracting.
That's what I was doing.
If you want to hear me talk about Heroes of the Storm, you can catch me on Core,
Core!
which is the Heroes of the Storm show I do, part of the Frog Pants Network. You can find out more information about that at heroesforyou.com, but also part of the Frog Pants Network. And recording tomorrow, there will be dungeons.
There will be?
There will be, actually, sort of.
Awesome.
There's at least an elevator.
Holy crap. I am so excited for this next episode to happen.
Elevator fights. It's the best video game trope of all. An elevator fight. You know it. I know it. We all know when you get on an elevator what happens. And it's happening tomorrow. So you can catch that at therewillbedungeons.com. And you can catch it live. We record on Saturday from 2 p.m. Pacific to when it's done.
Yeah.
Ben.
Very cool.
Yes, John.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
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 What's up?
What's up? Well, I'll tell you what's up. Remember how we have Battle for Azeroth beta codes?
Yeah.
Giving them away?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We haven't really had a whole lot of entries yet, so you've got a really good chance of getting a beta code.
I think you should enter. I saw one entry, and it was fantastic.
So here's the thing. If you want to know how to actually enter to win a Battle for Azeroth beta code, make sure to email us a screenshot of your character visiting your favorite Horde or Alliance hub, town, city, whatever. In the subject line of the email that you're going to send to azerothroundtable@gmail.com, put either Horde or Alliance. And basically, we're going to be randomly picking people to win. Like I said, you've got a very good chance of winning right now.
I know of at least one entry, though I suspect there may be more.
There are more than one entries. Yes, proper grammar. Okay. But as of right now, every single person who's entered is going to win if those numbers stay the same.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's very exciting. How do they enter again?
What they do is they send a screenshot of their character visiting their favorite Horde or Alliance hub, town, or city. So send it in to azerothroundtable@gmail.com with either Horde or Alliance in the subject line.
Ben, this sounds like a surefire way to get a beta code if you wanted one.
It's not surefire depending on how many we get in, but right now you've got a really good chance.
Well, hot dang.
Hot dang indeed.
You know, screenshots are hard. Once again, though, I think people should try to compete to be better than the one I saw, which met all my bonus point criteria, as it was a naked person in a vat of grapes going, "Hello, Ben."
Yep. And if you're looking for more from me, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Ben the Mage. I also do a show with Eludra called Battle Pets, where we talk about battle pets in the World of Warcraft. This show, however, Azeroth Roundtable, you can find us on Twitter. We are at AzerothRT. Any questions, comments, or beta key contest entries, send those to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. And of course, all of our episodes are found on AzerothRoundtable.com, on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, all those places. So take a listen. You might like old episodes. I don't listen to them, but I've heard they're fun.
I don't listen to any of them, but we appreciate that you do. And you may... No, this transition's not good.
Oh, no, you're there. You had it.
Hi, everybody. John here at the end of the show. Let's talk about Patreon. You've heard about it, possibly before from us. Well, it's still around. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's still doing its thing. They've made weird decisions in the past and reversed it, and that's why we're still there. So, patreon.com/AzerothRT. That's right? Yep, that's it. And go there and become a patron today. As usual, we're going to thank the Murloc Club because they're friends. And their names are Chris B., Frasley S., Kryn, Haster, Mimi H., Aaron, and Simon. Thank you for being part of the Murloc Club. Ben makes a sound just for you. And we give you our thanks. Once again, patreon.com/AzerothRT is where you can go to do that. Because our motto is, let's throw money at it.
That's the new motto. I'm stoked for it. Cool.
If you buy a bad car, let's throw money at it.
If you order a drink from Sonic and can't pay with a card,
let's throw money at it.
Ted, thank you very much for joining us to talk about the future of WoW and, of course, totally brainstorm and figure out where the story is going.
Thank you very much. It was fun.
And with that, everybody, thank you for joining us, chat room. You're amazing as always. And do me a favor, everybody. Be good to each other.
Let's
Absolutely.
throw money at it.
And that's how it's going to end.
Sweet.
Yeah, seriously, if you guys are in the chat room right now and you haven't entered, there's a really good chance you're going to get a beta key. With the amount that I got, there's a good chance. So do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Execute Order 66. He liquefied at the end there.
Unlimited power. Yes, Wicked Kitten, even you can enter.
Even you could win a beta code.
Key. Beta key.
You're
And
a key.
And this says she'd do anything for money, and Muko said, I do throw money at you, Thist. So there's that.
We've
Well,
learned
technically, in Raid, she has thrown
so
money at
much.
us.
That's true.
That is actually very true.
That's 100% true. It's all true. All of it.
Svensson, don't say things like everybody's always in the beta or everyone's in the beta, because there are people who might not be, and maybe they want a code. Yes, you have thrown multiple monies at us in Raid, and then you make us run around and pick them up off the floor like the people we are.
Yep.
Does it bug anybody else when you watch what's the movie? The Untouchables, and the one guy is in the courtroom and he's like, he keeps saying the word monies over and over again.
Monies.
He's like, did you knowingly transfer monies from the blah, 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 blah monies? These monies were deposited. I have never wanted to punch a guy more in my life than that
But
guy.
John, what about my monies?
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
But John, you're known for your punching of random people.
Yeah, it's my key trait.
Exactly.
I wonder if
So I
I
think-
type untouchables monies, what happens in Google?
Truly's, John?
Truly's. It doesn't believe that that's what I want to search for.
Hey, Ben.
And I agree.
Hurry up and finish the book, Ben.
I'm working on it
I
when I
know.
have time. Which
Yeah, I know. You've had people from out of town in.
I will say though, holy crap, we did an escape room last night.
Aren't those fun?
It was so cool, and we ended up with 18 minutes and 13 seconds left.
Nice. You know they have those at Comic-Con, right? They have 2 of them.
Yeah, we actually heard the story about them being at Comic-Con.
Yes. Yeah, Ryan went through and did one, and they got stuck on one part, so they didn't escape, but they had a lot of fun.
So it's funny because we didn't technically, it's not technically an escape room. It's a go through all these things and find an item. So, I mean, it's essentially the same thing. You're in a room, you unlock things and do things and everything, find secrets and stuff. And then, finally the ultimate thing is to not open a door, but just like for us, it was, we had to release a invisible magical creature that was being held against its will. And so, we went through and we found the box where it was and everything. Then finally, when we got the key and opened it up and everything, and then, the lights went off, and then kind of cool magical effects happened in the room and stuff. And I mean, it was really cool. And we had so much fun doing it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're definitely going again. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
It's like a real world dungeon crawl.
Yeah. Yeah. It was totally themed like Hogwarts too.
Sweet.
Oh, cool.
All right, gang. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight for the old round table. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you. We hope you have a fantastic weekend. And remember that Sunday is Father's Day. To those of you who need to buy a card or some such, like me, I'm telling you to remind myself.
I have my Father's Day card right here, actually.
Ben's on top of it.
It's a black and white picture of an older gentleman, and it says, having a kid is like having your heart walking around outside your body. Then you open it up and says, and watching it do stupid shit you told it not to do.
Accurate.
Accurate, yeah.
So anyway, remember that's what's going on, and have a good time, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
And be good to each other.